In this video, I'm going to try and survive 200 days in hardcore Minecraft. This is a little bit of what I was able to accomplish in the first 100 days, and I can't wait to see what I'm able to do in 200 days. Before we get into that though, here's a brief recap of what happened in the first 100 days. I was able to get full enchanted netherite armor and tools, slayed both the ender dragon and the wither, and was able to build a massive mansion overlooking the ocean. Now for the next 100 days, I have a couple things I want to complete, the main one being a huge villager trading center. I want to be able to trade for things such as golden carrots and enchanted books, but most importantly, I just want to be rich, man. I do want to do another raid because if you saw last video, I didn't get the achievement for some reason, and finally just work on some interior decoration for my house. And one last thing before we start, if you do end up enjoying the video, please subscribe, it means the world to me, and make sure to leave a comment down below if you want to see 300 days. By the way, most of this content was streamed live on Twitch, so consider dropping a follow and I'd love to see you in my streams. Anyways, without further ado, let's begin. On day 101, I wasted no time and got right to work. I wanted to hollow out the mountain that my house was on and just make it into a bunch of cool rooms. I would have a lot of room that I could use to put in some farms, some storage, and just decorative stuff. However, I really wanted a haste beacon so I'd be able to do this process a lot faster. I looked through all my chests to see if I had enough valuables to make a full max level beacon, and all I can say is that I was not close at all to how much stuff I needed for this. Thought about chopping down trees so I could get some emeralds from the villagers. I soon realized that this would take way too long and I needed a faster way to get emeralds. And this is where I got the idea to finally make a villager trading hall. I scouted out an area at the bottom of the mountain where I would begin building. So what I'm thinking is this gonna be kind of like a library look. I'm gonna have this big room and then I'm gonna have staircases going down into a lower level. I was really glad that I had an idea of what I wanted to build because that always makes it easier. The entirety of day 102 was spent mining out the main room, and by day 103 this is what it looked like. Unfortunately, I do not have the next 10 days of footage. I was playing for about 2 hours and then I finally realized that I wasn't recording. It's not that big a deal though, I didn't do that much. I just worked on the staircases going down to the lower level, and I also added a cool floor design that I saw on Reddit. I spent day 115 working on the edge of the floor, and I also added a fence so I wouldn't fall down there because that's no fun. I wanted to make the entire interior pretty much all made out of wood, so the next day I went out and chopped some trees. And of course I made sure to replant my saplings. Come on guys, who do you think I am? When I got back home, I started using the wood that I just collected and put up some wooden pillars. I also added some more wood to the floor. I didn't want it to just be planks, so I used strip logs, and this would provide more texture to the build and not make it look plain and flat. On day 118 I replaced the rest of the flooring with some dark oak planks, and then I ended up running out, so I had to go out and get some more. I had to take a trip to the Enderman farm on day 119 because my tools were getting pretty low from all the digging and stuff I was doing, but the next day I got right to work on a farm. This farm was going to be really big, so it would look really nice. It had a nice river going around it, and I would also be able to use the crops to trade with villagers and get emeralds. I started out by chopping down all the trees on this little area and then leveling out the ground with my shovel. After working all night, it was finally time for me to start planting the crops. I first started by placing some sugarcane around the river just because I wanted this to grow while I was working on the farm. And once that was done, I just started by hoeing out the ground and putting water sources around so the whole area was evenly hydrated. Next, I put slabs with lanterns on top of them so the whole area was illuminated. It was a rainy day on day 122, but I was finally able to start planting some crops. Of course I had to bone meal them. I mean, I need these profits now. I also wanted a large oak tree in the middle of the farm, so I placed a glass block like this and then put a sapling right next to it, and this would ensure that only large oak trees would spawn. I wanted the tree in the middle so I could put a beehive in the middle and it would look natural, and then I would put flowers around the edge of the farm so the bees would fly over the crops, go to the flowers, and then pollinate the crops as they fly back and forth between the flowers and the beehive. Anyways, days 123 and 124 were spent looking for beehives. It took kind of a while because they are pretty rare. And when I got home, I bone mealed the tree and it grew into a big oak just like I said. Day 125 was another gloomy rainy day, but I did manage to get a dog, and he will sit here forever. I had to do some terraforming the next day because after I had leveled out the entire area for the farm, the rest of the world around it kind of looked unnatural. I also went around and placed some sweet berries as well as some saplings to kind of make it look more natural. And the rest of day 126 was just spent in the village hall, adding some more detail, making everything look nice. I also put in some nice flooring for the villager cells, the villager homes. I am just relocating them to a new home. Day 127 was just spent managing my farm, doing some harvesting, as well as tending to my sugarcane that had grown. I also put some decorations around the center tree that evening. And guys, I've said it once and I'll say it again, the fence post lantern combo is undefeated and will always be my #1 choice when I'm trying to find a light source. And finally, I felt like I had enough infrastructure to where I could start transporting villagers from the nearby village into the trading hall. It was kind of annoying though. I had to dig through a mountain, but other than that, it was pretty smooth sailing from here, except for this zombie who decided to get into my boat. But I took care of it. It wasn't an issue at all. I was lucky enough to watch the sun go down on day 129 as I brought my first villager to the trading hall. This guy was super easy to work with and walked right in. Now that I had my first villager inside the compound, I began working on what I like to call the inflation chamber. I started out by digging a hole in the wall and then placed 2 pistons on either side. Next, I surrounded everything with fences. This would ensure that the zombie and the villager would stay in there and not escape. All I had to do now was get a zombie who was dumb enough to follow me into the chamber, which isn't hard. I mean, they have no brains. And after that, I took the villager that I had stolen from the village the other day and shoved him inside the chamber. With the flick of 2 levers, both mobs were shoved together, and let me tell you, it did not end well for the villager. Luckily for him, I have some NyQuil on me, and by NyQuil, I mean a splash potion of weakness and a golden apple. While he was resting up, I went back to the village and transported his best friend over. And the next day, I did it all again. Managed my crops, infected and cured the villager, and I repeated this process for the next few days. I also brought 1 more villager over so one could be in the inflation chamber while the other 2 are breeding. I did have to go out and get some sheep so I could make some beds because the villagers won't spawn baby villagers unless there are enough beds to have them all sleep. While I was waiting for the villagers to start breeding, I began extending the main trading hall, which was downstairs. My plan was to have 3 layers, and each layer would have 8 villagers, each with a different profession. So the first layer of the hall would be all farmers, the second layer would be all stonemasons, and then I decided the third layer would be all clerics. And obviously, as I was digging out this hallway, I was also breeding the villagers because I am efficient. And on day 143, I added in a nice floor. By day 144, I had a plethora of villagers, and I was finally able to put my first farmer villager in his cell. Man, I gotta stop saying that. It sounds way worse than it actually is. I've seen way worse conditions that villagers have to live in. Day 145 was a huge milestone for me. At this point, I had 4 farmer villagers with discounted prices. They also traded me golden carrots, which is the best food source in Minecraft, and I could get 3 golden carrots for 1 emerald. Absolutely insane. The profits were huge, and I pretty much traded throughout the rest of the day. I got to work making the area look a little nicer by taking out some walls and replacing it with cobblestone and stone bricks. I also added some glowstone for some light. This would ensure that no mobs would be spawning in the downstairs area. I traded all through day 147 because I wanted to get a beacon in the center of the downstairs area, and I needed a few more emeralds to do so. Once I had acquired all the emeralds I needed, I turned them into emerald blocks and then headed downstairs. I found the center of the room and then dug straight down. I began placing the emerald blocks and then dug down further as I needed to make more layers for the beacon. And once this was finished, I placed the beacon down on top and boom. I selected haste 2 because I still had a lot of mining to do to finish up this whole build, and haste would be extremely helpful for helping me complete this. I still wanted to be making profits, so just like I do every morning, I go out and tend to my crops. And I actually ended up farming for the rest of the day. My morning routine now is waking up and trading with villagers. However, it's been pretty long since I went outside and whacked some mobs, so that night I went outside and got my fix. It's a great feeling knowing that these mobs used to terrorize you, but now you terrorize them. Look at this beautiful aerial view we got of my land. On day 151, I started messing around with these stonemasons. I'm pretty sure if I leveled them up 1 time, they'll start trading me stone for emeralds. And then of course I can throw them in the inflation chamber and then get that down to 1 stone for 1 emerald. So basically I can mine around with my silk touch pickaxe and be literally mining emeralds. I needed to clean up the area where the masons would be located, so that's what I did for the rest of the day. The next few days were pretty repetitive. I would cure and infect the villagers, harvest and plant my crops, and then also I was working on the mason area like I said, because soon I would relocate all of them there. Day 156 I had 2 masons relocated, and both of them would trade me stone and andesite for 1 emerald. Since I almost had the second layer of the village hall filled out, which included all the masons, I began cleaning up the 3rd layer, which would be for the clerics. I tend to get a lot of rotten flesh with my looting 3 sword, and I'd be able to use the clerics to trade that rotten flesh for emeralds, which is just absolutely stonks. The next day, while I was curing a villager, I realized that I was very low on golden apples, so I headed out to the nether so I could get some gold. One of the things I want to do in the near future is make a gold farm, but for now I'll stick to mining gold in the nether. I took a little break from the hard work I was doing in the village hall and decided to work on my house a little bit. On day 161 I finished the master bedroom, and then on day 162 I worked on the master bathroom. Thanks to my stonemasons downstairs, I was able to get my hands on some really cool looking terracotta that I used for the ceiling. While I was in this building mood, I finally got around to doing something with my disc collection. If you guys remember from the first 100 days, I managed to get every single disc in the game, and they've been sitting in a chest at the old village all this time. I also made sure to show off the most rare discs in the game in my opinion, which is Pigstep and Ward. They aren't my favorite, but they are definitely in my top 5. With all the blocks I had been mining with this build, I really wanted some extra shulker boxes just so I could transport stuff easier. So for the next 3 days, I was in the end looking for end cities. And literally the same thing happened as the last video. I ended up finding another like 5 elytras. It's crazy. After that fun adventure, I headed back to my humble abode. As I was making my rounds in the village hall, I noticed that the roof was just really ugly. We had the whole downstairs area, but we had a flat roof. It just didn't look right to me. So for the next few days, I got to work. The next thing on my to-do list was to make an area that the villagers could sleep and hang out. I began mining out a room on the opposite side of the hall. My plan was to just put a bunch of beds there and then maybe a dining table in the middle or something. Of course, I had to decorate the walls with the classic Lancelot combo, the cobblestone and then stone bricks on top. I don't know why, but I really like this combo whenever I'm using stone bricks. I feel like the cobblestone underneath just makes it look a lot more sturdy. I placed down a wooden floor and some beds and also put glowstone underneath the beds to make it illuminated. Next, I traded with my masons to get some terracotta that I used for the roof. I think the color I used was light blue and then dark blue, and then I put dark oak planks in the middle. And by day 178, I had finished. This was the final product. Since I am putting this world up for download, I wanted to make sure that the village hall was 100% completed so you guys could enjoy it. So I continued work on it for the next few days. I started off by touching up the roof of the trading hall, adding in some glowstone and stuff like that, and then filling it in with some slabs. Once I was all done with that, I headed to the end of the trading hall to put up a design that I'm pretty sure I saw on TikTok a few hours before I streamed. I didn't just want to have a flat wall and put like stone bricks on it or something. I wanted it to have some depth and some color to it. Again, I traded with my masons to get some terracotta. Am I the only one who didn't know that the pink terracotta had an arrow on it? Once the base wall was done, I put a mix of spruce and dark oak stairs over it so you could still see the colors, but they were partially covered up. And that pretty much does it for the inside of the trading hall. Now all I had to do was work on the outside and the entrance. For the entrance, I decided I wanted to have a dock going out into the river and then add a little fishing house on top of it. I also added some logs as structure. This would kind of make it look more rustic, kind of like a mine shaft. That was kind of the vibe I was going for. As I was heading over to my enderman farm to mend up my tools, I noticed that I was low on fireworks. Since I didn't have a creeper farm, fireworks were one of the more difficult things for me to craft. But they're one of the most important items to have, especially if you have an elytra. So on day 189, I called up my buddy on Discord and he helped me build a creeper farm. I was gathering my materials for the build until I noticed I needed a lava bucket. So naturally, I headed to the nether because there is an abundance of lava there. Little did I know, trying to get this lava bucket could have ended my world. Oh, I just fell in.
Oh my god.
That's
Oh shit.
I'm good.
Oh god.
That scared the shit out of me. Jesus. My texture pack is in my Discord. Oh god. Oh no. Hold on. I might lose my world. Okay, pause. Let me explain what's going on right now. The reason I fell in the lava is because I was on soul sand and I didn't realize how fast I was running because of my soul speed boots. I get a little flustered, however I am able to get to a fire res potion and I pop the fire res potion so I'm no longer taking damage from the lava. As I come back up to the surface, a magma cube starts attacking me. Keep in mind I don't have my chest plate on so I start taking lots of damage. I do have a totem in my offhand, but I'm nervous it's not enough and I won't be able to get back underneath the lava before the magma cube kills me. And on top of that, while all this is going on, my stream starts lagging, which is really unfortunate. I'm good. Okay. Oh my god. I'm gonna dig my way out of here. I dug my way out of there, barely getting away with my life. My heart is racing right now. Oh my god. After I'd literally gone through hell and back to get that lava bucket, I began working on the creeper farm. I did need 2 cats for this build, so I did go fishing for a little bit to make sure I had enough to tame them. I also didn't want to build the farm out in the open because it's ugly, so I decided I would conceal it in that mountain right next to my house. I began digging out a room where the creepers would spawn in, and then placed down some temporary torches to make sure nothing spawned while I was working there. After that, I started putting up the walls for the build, and then covered it with trapdoors so only creepers could spawn. Took my cat over to the farm, placed it down in its little seat, and it went to work right away, scaring the crap out of creepers. The farm design was to have 2 cats on each side that would scare creepers into the middle, and then they would fall down this pit because of the trapdoors. There would be water in a pit pushing them down a short tunnel, and at the end of the tunnel there is lava, and then obviously hoppers to collect the gunpowder. Before I removed the torches from inside the farm to make it operational, I wanted to make it look pretty. I went around replacing the stone with cobblestone and stone bricks because, you know, it's my favorite combo. And I added a little dark oak flooring to spice it up. Once I was all done, all I had to do was make an AFK platform 120 blocks up in the air. And just look at this view, man. The fog is so sick. Although I was only up at the platform for about 5 minutes, I managed to get 30 pieces of gunpowder, which is pretty efficient, especially considering how easy the farm was to build. Now, with only 2 days left to go till I hit 200 days, I wanted to go out just like I did on my 100-day video with a raid. Except this time, I was going to do a level 3 raid, and I was going to get the achievement for it. I killed 3 raid captains, and then I went over to the nearby island village. Obviously, the first few waves were pretty easy for me, but I had no idea how difficult this raid would actually be. With only 1 or 2 more waves to go, I noticed that none of the pillagers were on the surface, but I remembered if you ring a bell within 50 blocks of a pillager, it will start glowing, so I used that tactic to see where they were located. Oh, they're all down there! Okay guys, I'm kind of walking into a death trap here. Every single pillager, vindicator, evoker, they were all stuck in this cave. I knew if I went down there and faced them, I would die. What I needed to do was pick them off one by one with my bow without getting the attention of the evoker, because if he started spawning those vexes, I would be done for. I managed to open a little hole and started raining fire on them. There's one guy left. Oh, there's another evoker! I thought I had taken out the last evoker, but there was one left. And this guy was the real deal. See, how is he reaching me from all the way over here? For some reason, this guy could attack me from all the way down in the cave while I was on the surface. I mean, just look at this. He also kept summoning vexes, so I literally could not go down there because vexes can go in between blocks. So if I went down there and tried to fight him, I would literally be walking into an actual death trap. He's sending more out. Oh my god. This is so annoying. This one guy. This is, what the hell? How does he even see me up here? No, like, I literally can't, there's nothing I can do. There's literally nothing I can do. If I go down there to just, like, tap him out, all these vexes are just gonna absolutely destroy me. I felt like a headless chicken. I was just running in circles, not knowing what to do. An idea came into my head, maybe I could go and drop some TNT on him. But, as you remember the last video, I left the village and the raid ended. And I really wanted to get the achievement this time, so I could not leave the village. You can even see here, I'm a little too far from the village and the raid bar has disappeared. And as I go back to the village, it reappears. I ring the bell right here and you can see it's just one evoker down there. You can also see his attacks, the alligator things or whatever, they're coming up to the surface. It's insane. I seriously, I don't know what to do. As I was running around trying to think of what to do, I accidentally fell into a hole, and this could have ended really badly. Oh, oh my god, that could have ended really badly. If I wasn't able to get out of that hole like I did, those vexes could have killed me easily. Anyways, at this point, I realized that there was nothing I could do, so I decided to log out and re-log in to see if this would fix the bug. Because evokers are not supposed to act like this. Mobs aren't supposed to be able to see you through blocks, so it's definitely a bug. I feel that has to be a bug. I logged out and logged back in, and just like I had suspected, the evoker was not attacking me anymore. Yeah, that worked, okay. Okay, that's not cheating. That's definitely a bug. And after all that trouble, he was finally dead. There was only one more wave after this, and the next morning I finished it and got the achievement. And there you have it, there's 200 days in hardcore Minecraft. Like I said before, I did put this world up for download, so if you want to play around on it, you can head over to the description and find the download link. Also, let me know if you guys want to see 300 days, I would absolutely love to do it, so just leave a comment down below. But other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.